Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It has been a hot minute, but we got to do it the right way. Ready? Three, two, one. Joe!
Oh,
Dog Talk Sports is back from our mini hiatus.
oh. Listen, we
Uh,
gotta take a break every once in a while, a little breather.
well, listen, during the summer months, it's a little slow during the summer months. A little slow.
A lot going on.
A
A
lot
lot
going
going on.
on. Yeah.
We,
I recently started a new job, so that was going on. Raymond's been busy. Dan's been busy being a brand new father. Things are beautiful in the worlds of
we
us.
are we are in final countdown mode over here in Schmidtland. We
Yes.
are we are expecting a couple weeks, maybe days, maybe hours, could be minutes, who knows. We
Who
are
knows?
we are in imminent threat right now to join the Danimal and Alicia in Parenthood.
That's pretty good right there.
Yeah, yeah. So, but I mean, we got since we last talked. What do we got? We had the draft. We are full swing of little off-season football action, getting those OTAs. Nothing. Getting some people in the building, some people not in the building, some
Yep.
jersey numbers swaps.
Knicks, Yankees, Mets,
Yeah, I mean,
softball.
Aaron Judge is doing Aaron Judge things. New York Knicks are hooping right now, deep into the playoffs.
Listen, let's start off with the Knicks so that we can kind of get them out of the way here.
All right, yeah, I want to clap it up real quick. I just want to clap it up because you know what? As the resident Dallas Maverick fan
And the Brooklyn Nets fan here.
and the resident Brooklyn Net fan, we are not Knick fans, but I mean, you can't help but to get caught up in the local Knicks hysteria.
Oh yeah.
Everyone's got their orange and blue on. I see people lining up at the train station to hop a train into New York City, catch the game. But I mean, it's great for the New York metro area when it comes to New York Knicks being relevant in the sport of basketball. Shout out to former Dallas Maverick Jalen Brunson, just doing dog things. But I mean, we're they're down right now.
They are indeed down. They made it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals, and they're playing the Indiana Pacers. They forced the game 6 last night, which I think everyone expected that to happen in the Garden.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, and I think the Pacers kind of, they kind of
Uh, they
they kind of like
they
allowed it to happen a little bit. Just
they
the
slept on that game. Halliburton was
Yeah,
a non-fact. I think
yeah,
he had like
they were
eight
sleeping.
points.
Yeah,
He
they
had
were
like 8 points. Yeah, like
yeah, they were sleeping.
Pascal
The Knicks
Siakam was a
yeah,
non-issue.
just non-factor. They lost by 20. It wasn't even like really a game from the get-go. The Pacers were not interested in playing last night. When
However, they need to close it out in Indiana.
yeah, if they lose game 6 in Indiana
And it comes
and
back to New York.
it comes back to New York for game 7.
Wow.
Listen, Knicks and Indiana went to 7 games last year in the second rounds, and it was game 7 in the Garden, and the Pacers won that game. So, we'll see what happens here. I do think the Pacers, I don't think they're more talented than the Knicks. I just think they're better coached. I think their bench is better, and I think they play faster, and I think their defense is better. The Knicks have just been getting a lot of inconsistent play from Josh Hart, a lot of inconsistent play from Mikal Bridges. Um, you know,
Yeah, I mean,
Cat's been good. Cat's been solid. Jalen Brunson's been Jalen Brunson. But I mean,
outside of Brunson and Cat, like who they don't. You like you said, they've nobody consistently to pick up the slack and go to.
Yeah.
Um,
And Thibodeau just doesn't make any adjustments. Like Thibodeau is just an old
this is
school.
this is it, and
Yeah.
we are forging forward.
Yeah. He's not a championship level coach. He's just not. There's a reason why he's never made the NBA finals. He doesn't make any adjustments. He's an old school style coach, and that doesn't work anymore. Rick Carlisle has been coaching circles around him this series.
Rick Carlisle. I mean, take it back to won a champion. He won. We won our only championship under Rick Carlisle as the head coach, and
Yeah.
he's a wizard.
He's a basketball savant. He's a wizard.
Um, and I just think Indiana has that dog mentality. I after that first listen, that first game, we going back and forth on the text messages, and I know Ray's gonna want to earmuff this because when I said when the Knicks blew that 14-point lead in the fourth quarter, and you got Halliburton running around choking himself out because he was centimeters away from just stealing it on a game-winning three without having to go to that OT. Um, Knicks were cooked then. I
Yeah.
mean, the fact that like we Indiana allowed them to win that last game.
Yeah. I think
Indiana
Indiana let him win it.
Indiana prolonged this to go back to Indianapolis so Pat McAfee can get back on the microphone, stand in the middle of the arena, and call out some more New York Knicks celebrity fans. I I really find it hard to think that it's coming back for seven, but it could.
And
But
even if it does, this happened last year. This happened last year. Knicks and Indiana went 7 games in the second round, and it went back to New York for the seventh game. And the Pacers won that game. So game seven, like it does not, game seven's game seven. Like road or away, it does not, there's no home court advantage in a game seven. It just doesn't happen. Like game seven, anything can happen.
the Garden will be electric, though. If Game 7 rolls through to go to the finals, that's going to be something special. It's going to be $50,000 tickets to get in. It's going to be the hottest selling ticket of the year, probably in the New York area.
Yeah.
All for Jalen Brunson to shoot 40 times and have 2 assists. You fucking bum!
Yeah. Well.
Guy just dribbles around and just chucks it up.
Yeah, I think he needs to. Well, you know what? He either needs to trust his teammates or he needs better teammates.
Well, all right. Fair enough on both accounts because I guess it's kind of like.
Well, because he's looking around going, fuck, is Mikal Bridges really going to make this three right now, or am I going to shoot this three?
You might as well heave it up.
Might as well just shoot the three.
Because the only other thing you got is Cat Williams catting all around the Garden. But yeah, I mean, exciting stuff. I hope it goes to Game 7. Knicks in the final will be pretty awesome. I will say whoever goes on to the finals is going to leave in a body bag, though.
Yeah, they're getting where it doesn't matter. They're getting smashed by Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
Oklahoma City is one of the youngest teams in the league. They're in the finals. They beat the shit out of the Minnesota Timberwolves, and they have 4 first-round picks in this draft. Like they're going to be a powerhouse for 10 years.
Yeah, the dynasty has been built. This is like the crowning right now, the crowning moment, like the come out. We're here, and I mean, Shea is
dog,
and I mean,
he's not the best player in the world, though.
He's not the best player in the world. You're absolutely right. He's not the best player in the world, and I think after this, can we just snuff out the Ant-Man because he is overhyped, and I was never a fan of the Ant-Man.
The fact that he's gotten to two straight Western Conference finals at 22 and 23 years old is saying something, though. Like
Pretty impressive,
that kid is
but
gonna have a great future.
I mean, if Luca wasn't, if man, if Luca was still a Maverick, man, just I
Listen,
miss. But Luca is on a different planet than Ant-Man. But Ant-Man is special,
yes.
but overhyped.
So listen, let's see. Hopefully the Knicks can get it going. Maybe they could force a game seven. I think Indiana closes it out tomorrow. I just think the Knicks will just be too tired, and I think Indiana will just run them out of the gym like they have been doing. And I think they pull it off and send themselves to the finals, and Halliburton cements himself as an all-time pacer.
Yeah, this is Halliburton's moment to
Yeah.
really put
I mean,
himself in the next conversation.
ever since that poll of him being called the most overrated player in the league, like now this has happened. Like like this run, like that sparked this run.
Yeah, he.
That's
Hang
that's
on.
the storyline, that's the script. You know what I mean? So
I,
sports is theater, so
I mean, I will say I prefer Halliburton over Tatum because they're both cornballs, but I think I like Halliburton.
I prefer Halliburton well over Tatum. Tatum is a super cornball. Like at least Halliburton's like slightly cool.
On a slim margin, but yeah, cooler, way cooler than Tatum.
He's absolutely cooler than Tatum. But so we'll see. Let's go Knicks. Listen, as a Nets fan, I'm always going to root for the New York teams. I'm not one of these people that are massive haters. Like I would never root for Indiana over a New York team. Like that's just wild to
Yeah,
me.
no, I
There's,
mean,
a- I mean, as a Nets fan, because I own all the Knicks picks until forever, because of the Mikal Bridges trade, you would think you would want me to have them lose, but
uh,
it is what it is. I'm not going to root for the Knicks to lose.
yeah, I mean, Ray called me a hater after game one and was, oh, with all the negativity. I was just
Like
being real.
I
I was just
listen, they
being
were
real.
being
That type
very
of
real.
loss,
That type of
that
loss,
type of loss is one of those losses where, like I said, could have easily led to them getting swept. Um,
it's like when it was Yankees Dodgers game one last year. Like after that game one, like the series was over. This is just like that was just a series ending
all
loss.
right, I guess it's all in the eyes of the beholder because the series is still well alive in my eyes.
But
Perfect
moving
segue.
Perfect segue to the Yankees. They are in first place, the best team in the American League,
Dogs.
9 game lead in the American League. Bellinger has been they just had a phenomenal month of May. There's no team better than the Yankees in the month of May. Aaron Judge is Aaron Judge, the greatest right-handed hitter of all time.
Aaron Judge is greater than, and that's it. End the story. Period. Exclamation. Exclamation. Aaron Judge, our captain, my captain, your captain, the face of baseball, the dog, the king of New York.
Yes, he 100% is the king of New York. I don't care what anybody says. When you're the king and when you're the face of the New York Yankees, you are the face of baseball.
Oh,
So the Yankees have been phenomenal. Cody Bellinger has been great. Max Fried has been the
dog,
best pitcher in baseball.
dog.
1.29 ERA
My
through the
God, goosebumps! Like the fucking rock right here. Goosebumps. What a pickup! Can you imagine if we had Garrett Cole in the rotation?
If we had Garrett Cole in the rotation with him, we'd be World Series favorites. It's just that simple. I knew when Cole went down, I was like, man, that's just because Rodon is having his best year
My oh,
as a
more
Yankee too.
Oh man, what? I mean, you know what? Cole could be back by
No,
September.
no, he's not.
Come on,
He's
just
not going to be back.
October, game 3 of whatever playoff game. Garrett Cole on the mound. Just, I'm here for it. Come on, speak it into existence.
But you know what? Even if he does come for that, he'll be coming back too early and he might pitch like shit. You don't do it. He's out till
Yeah,
next
absolutely do it.
year.
I will take Garrett Cole over Yarborough. I'll take Garrett Cole over Warren. I'll take Garrett Cole over, even though I love him, I'll take him over Schmitty.
A hurt Garrett Cole, an 80% Garrett Cole.
Yes,
All right.
80% Garrett Cole is still a dog.
Listen, he's not coming back.
Fine,
So
save him to the World Series. Give him the extra 3 weeks, and bam, World Series. What stuff of legends.
anyway, this is back in the land of reality.
All
Um,
right, the land of reality. We're awesome. Max Fried is a dog. Rodon is just bearded. Rodon is
is
a
the
dog. Like that's who we should have brought the beard back for Rodon, not for the Airbender.
who has been very good as the setup man.
Setup man, yeah. And my favorite little weirdo, locked in, our closer, the Dream Weaver,
Mhm.
is he was built for that role.
Yeah, he's built for it, and I think that's why it's been the way it's been because Williams has been exceptional since moving to the setup man spot. Hasn't allowed an earned run in his past 11 appearances. So I think that's the role he should have. And Luke Weaver should be in his closer role still and ride it out. Wrap this regular season up, take that AL East championship, get home field advantage throughout the playoffs, and just get it rolling. Seeing the Baltimore Orioles be atrocious is amazing. And seeing Boston Red Sox have a horrible month of May, like this is the Yankees division. It's that simple. The
Yeah,
rest of the
there's
division is weak. It's not really going to be close. So
everything. This is what did I saw? It was like this is the first time that the Yankees were had like an X amount of lead in the AL East.
2022.
Yeah,
So it's been
it's.
a couple years.
I think everything right now is just a formality at this point to get to the postseason, barring some cataclysmic collapse.
Which might happen in August, like always, but we'll see.
We do. We'll build up an 18 game lead in and squander it away to like a 6 game lead and then
Yeah.
kick back into gear. But yeah, I think we got Jazz on a rehab assignment starting up. I don't know how I feel about him playing third base.
I don't either because that's just so that the geriatric DJ LeMahieu can be at second. And
And I listen, I love DJ LeMahieu more than most people.
dude, if Aaron Boone, man, we're not going to win a championship with this fucking guy. This guy just overthinks everything. And
I would absolutely keep Jazz back at second base and play Peraza at third. Peraza hasn't had the best bat, but
or put DJ LeMahieu back at third.
you could
Like,
do that too.
what is the big deal? Like, I don't know.
DJ plays third better than most people.
Yeah.
Like, even if his,
Or just trade for one and DJ goes to the fucking bench.
well, I mean, we have a lot of options to play around with to make a move like that because we're a team that we have an abundance of riches. I mean, Ben Rice has been
Awesome.
dog, but what are you going to do with Ben Rice when eventually Big G comes back?
He should be playing third base. Ben Rice cannot leave the lineup.
I don't.
Teach him
His,
how to fucking play third base.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's what are
It's
you?
that
Like that's
simple.
your other options because you have a lineup where Judge is a mainstay in right field. You've got Belly in center field, and then you got Dominguez, who's been pretty decent, not great, but
But he's been serviceable as a
yeah, he's because Grisham's cooled down, so him and Grisham are probably about the same, I would say. Um, Dominguez is faster, so I would give the edge to Dominguez. But then you could play Ben Rice in the outfield. You could play Ben Rice at first base. You could play Ben Rice as catcher. The kid Ascara, the Uber driver, ship him off somewhere.
yeah. Why is he in the lineup? Good Lord. He's the backup catcher. Like, why isn't Rice the backup catcher? Like,
Yeah, I
I don't get it. But again, what do I know?
we're just two kids from New Jersey just yapping on a podcast about what probably should be done.
Yeah, and everyone and their mother thinks this is what should be done, but Boone is Boone. But moving over to the other New York team, we have the Mets, who are no longer in first place. The Phillies have taken first place from them in the NL East. And they're playing really well. I mean, they have the best pitching in baseball. Their offense really leaves a lot to be desired. Most of their hitters are hitting below 200 with runners in scoring position. And the big story, really, for the Mets, it should be the big story is the Mets are playing really well and they're headed for possibly a deep playoff run. But the main story has been Juan Soto. Juan Soto, with the Yankees and Mets had the Subway Series, and the, the Yankees beat the shit out of them. I mean, if it wasn't for Aaron Boone just punting one of those games and just being a horrible manager for that,
Dominated.
yeah, for that game too, the Yankees dominated the Mets that series. So I mean, and it really affected Juan Soto. It really did. And then after the Subway Series, all the reports started coming out. Bob Nightingale, all these guys coming out saying, yeah, well, Juan Soto still wants the Yankees. He was going to sign with the Yankees, and then his mom convinced him to sign with the Mets because she wanted the clothes.
Because
And
she was getting a jet and a wardrobe and her own suite. If
yeah,
that's true, I just
I guarantee you it's true. I promise you it's true because
Juan
Bob
Soto,
Nightingale doesn't lie.
my I feel for you, man. I I know you. He the proof is just look at him.
Just look at
Like
him. He doesn't want to be there.
looks miserable.
Yeah, he's batting 224, has only 5 home runs, and we're in June. Like we're about to be in June. There's no more like, oh, he'll get used to it. Like, no, like this is what he might just be, just some random power hitter who's not a great defender. Like, like I was saying to our resident Met fan, Rich, over the weekend, like if the Mets weren't good right now, like this would be just an unmitigated disaster.
Oh, they would be
They'd
burning the queens down to the
be
ground.
burning Queens down. Yeah. But you know what? They're paying him $800 million. Like you didn't even have to move. You just switched colors, but he doesn't want to be there. And his agent, fucking whatever his stupid name is,
Boris,
Boris, a report came out. He said there's some level of regret for the contract. So they both wanted the Yankees, but I think Juan Soto's family pushed to sign for the Mets because of all the additional amenities. So
but
that's
you know
just
what?
what it is. And so you know what? All the talk in the beginning of the year of, oh, I picked the Mets because I thought they were going to be more competitive. I thought I was going to win more with them. It was all lies. It was all bullshit. It was all fake.
It was just to save face.
It was just a save face that he took this other deal. But you know what? The Yankees are better off. It's just that simple because Bellinger Max Fried and Devin Williams were the pivot, the plan B, and the Yankees are in first place. Because if we sign Juan Soto, we don't have Max Fried. So
Definitely don't have Max
definitely
Fried.
don't have Max Fried.
You
So,
don't have Bellinger either.
and we wouldn't have Bellinger. So, and the Yankees are still looking to add another infielder. They're trying to get a legitimate, established third baseman at the deadline, and they're looking at more pitching. They're
I'm
just
telling you, we're gonna have a third baseman and another legit starter. Don't sleep on. I'm telling you, Miami,
yeah,
the Alcantara.
trade for Alcantara. Get him in
I'm.
here.
It's a. I'm telling you, that's an option. But I will also say, in 5 years, when Soto has his opt out,
He'll be Yankee again.
he will be in pinstripes, and it'll be all the people that turned their back on him, and in
Oh
the
yeah, they won't care.
yeah, no, like, all right, you've suffered enough. Come home, come home, son. Because by then Stanton will be gone,
Oh yeah.
so that that opens things up. And
It might be. I mean, Stanton only has 1 year left on his deal. Stanton's going to be gone. Like, if we don't win it this year with him, he's gone. They could just eat it. They could eat the last year.
he'll be back.
Listen, he's an all-time Yankee. You want to
Yeah,
know he's an all-time Yankee? Because he's one of the most clutch performers
dude.
for the Yankees in the playoffs. And when they received their American League Championship Series
Oh,
this week,
he
and
said,
he
"Put
said,
those fucking things away. If I see you wearing that, I'm gonna take my and smack you with it." That's what
yeah,
he said.
yeah, that is a Yankee right there. Anthony Volpe refused the ring from the Major League Baseball. They said you have to take it. So he took it and gave it to his dad. So listen, they're hungry. You could tell
Yeah,
they're hungry. I just hope that this manager doesn't screw this up. That's the only
I
thing.
I think this is like us getting to the World Series was and losing could be like the best thing for them. It gave them a taste of like you were there. You were this close. You were this close. And Nestor Cortez and Aaron Boone
Blew it all up.
blew it all up. And this year, like we discovered Weaver last year in the playoffs. Like that was like our and now like that's our guy. Like when it comes to like uh, a high leverage situation,
Yeah.
that like I don't care what it like Weaver or bust. And then if we lose, then we lose. At least we know we went with took our biggest shot.
Yeah.
But I think we are at an all-time like thirst for a championship now. And
They were there. If they win game one in LA, that's a whole different.
oh yeah, absolutely. But
So
I'm pretty confident in our team right now. It's fun baseball to watch. I mean, winning baseball to watch is always a good thing in New York.
yeah,
Very positive. Very positive.
very positive, very positive. So let's segue over to our football teams. The draft happened. We usually do our drafts recap. Obviously we were unable to do that, and we're not going to go super in depth here because we are on a little bit of a time constraint today, but that's all right. We're going to get into what needs to get done. Um,
That's all right. Let's shout out to our sponsors over here at the DH Gate for a number one draft pick jersey right here. The
and
Deuce, the salute to service. Ashton Genty, baby. Let's go.
listen, the Raiders had a phenomenal draft. Taking Ashton Genty there was the perfect thing to do. Now they got a pretty decent offense, especially if he turns out to be what he is. The Raiders might have a fun team.
Exciting football awaits in Las Vegas, I predict. Um, I think we still might add a veteran wide receiver to complement Genty, Jacoby Myers, and Brock Bowers. We got a couple of rookie dogs, wide receivers, Jack Betch and Big Dog 6'5", runs a 4.240. Can't think of his name, but picked him up late in the draft. Like, could be exciting times in Las Vegas. Finally.
Finally. Well, you know what? They made themselves like a 2 to 3 year little window to really try to win some football games because Pete Carroll is 73 and he's not here for a rebuild.
Yeah, Pete Carroll don't got time for that.
You don't got time for a rebuild. That's why they got Geno. That's why they took Ashton Genty. They're trying to win games. Obviously the biggest question mark for them on their team, on the offensive side of the ball probably is still the offensive line. We don't know how well they're going to gel. And the main weakness of the team still probably is on the defensive side of the ball. We'll see if those additions kind of work out a little bit. But the offense should be exciting. And you know what? I'm sure Raider fans just want to see some exciting football,
That's all
so
we want. Listen, it's all we clamor for. And you know what? A quick shout out to the dog, the GOAT, Derek Carr. Gonna tip a cap right here to you, my fearless leader. Just one of one teammate, one of one quarterback, a leader. Um, couldn't get it done with him, but he's riding off into the sunset. Probably not how we wanted to, but
no, not how we wanted to at all. Derek Carr, obviously, what Pete is alluding to here is Derek Carr announced his retirement. Um, he hurt his shoulder last year against the Giants, and he thought he was good, thought it healed well, and then he started ramping up his offseason program, and it didn't feel right. So he got the MRI, and they're like, your rotator cuff is no bueno.
non non-existent. You are
Yeah. And they said, listen, we could fix it, but we cannot guarantee that you could be able to play that you used to play. And he said, well, if that's the case, then I'm just done. So he did retire, played 14 years in the NFL, was a second round pick. Most second round quarterbacks don't have that kind of success in the NFL.
all-time leader for the Raiders.
Yep.
Yards, tutty, you name it. Their fourth quarter comebacks. Like, guy
Yep.
was a general. And I mean, just think of like he was the face of the Raiders during a time where there was so much turmoil and turnover that he didn't have a head coach or an offensive coordinator for more than 2 years in a row.
Yeah. It was wild.
So
He
for
was a
him to
soldier.
for him to amass stats that he did in the accolades, he took us to, I mean, that 2016 team, if he doesn't break his leg in the second to last game of the year, that team, that offensive line, that could have been a Super Bowl contending team. And then he took us to the playoffs one more time in 2021.
Yep.
Didn't end the way we wanted it to, but you know what?
The NFL stole that game. That's what happened.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Joe Burrow.
Go bro.
But yeah, I mean, Raiders fans, to get back to what we want to taste, we want to play off, and we want to play off win. Like, it's been since 2002 since the Raiders have enjoyed a playoff win, and I mean, I want to say it right now. WrestleMania has its own sort of little tie into this. So every year since I believe 2021, the host city of WrestleMania, that corresponding football team has made the playoffs that year following. the WrestleMania it hosted. So this past year, it was in Las Vegas.
It's going back to Las Vegas for a second year in a row.
That only leads me to believe we got a dynasty run, baby. So let's get ourselves going. Let's get a playoff berth, a victory, and let's build from there.
All right, there we go. Let's talk about I think the other team that just stole all the headlines from the draft was the New York Football Giants. What were they going to do with pick number 3? Were they going to take Abdul Carter? Were they going to take Shedeur Sanders, who had one of the greatest falls in NFL draft history? And I was so happy about it.
The greatest,
About it.
the greatest fall.
And he's number 4 on the depth chart for Cleveland, by the way. He's having bad OTAs. So it's just, I mean, the perfect example of, not to segue here, but the perfect example of the media building up a kid who wasn't really good to begin with, but because he was Dion's kid,
The hype train.
the hype train for him was like something
Mel Kiper just never should be allowed on sports
he should not be allowed on television ever again. I mean, he needs to realize how wrong he is about Shedeur Sanders. Like the Browns currently have Joe Flacco as the number 1 quarterback, and Dylan Gabriel is above Shedeur on the depth chart right now. They only used the 5th round pick on Shedeur. They could just cut him. Like
Yeah, you got no ties.
Yeah, there's no ties. They could be like, listen, if you suck, we're not going to roster 4 quarterbacks. Like, unless he has a good training camp. If he has a good training camp and he proves me wrong, great. Because when Cleveland is good, the NFL is fun. So, it is what it is. But I mean, that was just juicy, and I loved seeing every bit of it. He would have been a Giant, but Daboll puts quarterbacks to the test, man. Like, that is still probably one of the better quarterback coaches in this league, and he fucking grills them. He puts them to
Good on him. Good on him.
Good on him. And the meeting with Shedeur went horrible. Shedeur came unprepared. Daboll quizzed him and tested him, and Shedeur completely failed. And Daboll called him out on it for being unprepared, and Shedeur got pissed. And that ended that. I think the Giants.
It's a job interview.
Yeah,
showing up with an entourage, showing up, AirPods in, music blasting. Like, what?
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous, absolutely insane. But there was a quarterback who went into his meeting and absolutely crushed it. And the Giants and Brian Daboll fell in love with. His name is Jackson Dart, because the Giants did not take Shedeur Sanders, number 3 overall. They took Abdul Carter, number 3 overall, arguably the best player in the whole draft, to pair him with Dexter Lawrence and Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau to form arguably a top 3 defensive line in all of football.
That's nasty.
That's a nasty defensive line in football. They have a really good linebacker core still with Micah McFadden and Bobby Okereke, and they really addressed the secondary in free agency. They got Javon Holland, from one of the better safeties in the league, from Miami. They got Paulson Adebo, really good young corner from New Orleans. If he didn't break his leg, he was one of the better cornerbacks in the league last year. So automatically the Giants defense, I mean, that's a pretty scary unit right now for the Giants defense. But, they snuck back in. Everyone said they were going to trade up for a quarterback. We didn't know if it was going to be Dart. We didn't know if it was going to be Milroe. We didn't know if it was going to be for Shedeur. But it ended up being Dart. And didn't really give up much. Like, they gave up an extra 3rd rounder.
Yeah, they just secured their franchise quarterback for the next 5 years, 10 years. Like, that 3rd round pick, that extra pick that they gave up, it's
who cares?
Who cares? Yeah, exactly.
It was, well, they gave up their 2nd, but again, they swapped,
Who cares?
Who cares? If this kid is good, then that's it. And you know what? I'm going to say this right now. I have no idea if this kid's going to be any good. He's so young and he's so raw. but he's exactly what Brian Daboll wants in a quarterback. And his reaction when Joe Shane pulled that trade off to draft him with John Mara and Steve Tisch sitting right next to him and seeing that kind of excitement, this is a little different. Like Daniel Jones era is over.
Gone.
This
You
is
can,
like
we don't have to look. There's no looking back now. It's
there's no more
Dart country. Dart looks the part. He I
he
don't know. He just brings a different
it's
energy.
a whole every beat writer, everyone saying just the energy is just different. The
Yeah.
vibes are just different. Listen, Russell Wilson is the starter. But Dart's having a really good. I mean, I get it. It's just shorts. No one knows anything when
Yeah.
they're all practicing in shorts. But when you got the beat writers who hate the Giants, like Pat Leonard, I don't even know how he has access to the team still. Every Giants fan knows who I'm talking about. All he does is create drama and clickbaity headlines. He's not an actual real journalist. I think he's horrible. Every Giants fan thinks he's horrible, and the Giants should cut his access. But that's neither here nor there. Um, when you have the most skeptical guy like Pat Leonard saying this dude has it, then maybe there's something to it. Like I said, I got no idea if this kid's going to be any good, but he does have it. Like he is not some bumbling little goofball.
No, he's and you know what? He won me over when he had his first presser and he asked every single beat writer and everyone that was at, can you introduce yourself? Can I get your name so I can learn it? I was like, this guy understands New York.
Yeah, he
This,
gets it.
he
This
gets it.
this is a possible superstar, and there's apparently this whole scale that rates the probability of a quarterback being a superstar, and he broke the record set by Lamar Jackson, to be the, most guaranteed bankable superstar quarterback. So I don't know, we'll see. That's a whole separate thing. But as a Giants fan, having to deal with Daniel Jones for 6 years, and then we had that one little random year where we thought he was good and he won us that playoff game, and we all thought, oh, maybe this kid's got something, and then it just was never the same. Which, by the way, that's how bad the Indianapolis Colts are, and that's how bad Anthony Richardson is because Daniel Jones is going to beat him out for the job.
I again, I don't like. We all knew Anthony Richardson was a raw prospect coming out, and he
He
just
doesn't want
went.
to be a quarterback.
He just went to the wrong situation too, to learn to be a quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
Going to the quarterback eaters that the Indianapolis Colts are,
All right,
like,
Tim Irsay.
yeah. All right, R.I.P. Hats off.
That's off. Moment of silence for one of the better owners in this league's history, Jim Irsay. 65. Moment of silence.
Moment has passed.
Moment has passed. But yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, God, the Colts are terrible. Who the hell are
bad.
they?
It's
They're terrible.
bad all around. But Ray would be furious if we didn't bring up the fact that the Giants also drafted running back uh, Cam Scatterbo.
Yeah, I listen, I was so hyped up with Dart that we didn't even talk about their other draft pick that was huge, Cam Scatterbo. Was right. There was only one other running back that scored more touchdowns, had more all-purpose yards, and broke more tackles than Cam Scatterbo last year. Can you guess who that running back was? You damn right. So
No.
only Ashton Genty was a better running back than Cam Scatterbo last year. So I have no idea how he went in the fourth. And I'm amazed he went in the fourth. And I love that he's a Giant. He's our new power back that we've been looking for I don't even know how long. We finally have someone that could actually block as a running back too. And now the Giants have their own little thunder and lightning going on.
Yeah.
Tyrone Tracy, little quick, got the hands, converted wide receiver, fast. He needs to stop fumbling. Now you got Cam. I mean, Scatterbo's gonna pretty much get every touch when the Giants are within 20 yards. I
Oh yeah, dude. When he inside the 5, they're just pound
Pound
the
the rock.
rock.
Exactly. I hate that the NFL gave the Giants the hardest schedule in the last 5 seasons. And because of that, I think they may really only win maybe 6 or 7 games with, because I'm sure Russ will play half the year and they'll throw Dart in there and just to see what he can do. But I don't think this regime is going anywhere. You don't let them draft their quarterback and then fire them. Even if they win 6 games, I don't think anyone's getting fired. It would have to be an unmitigated disaster
Yeah,
from the
they would
beginning.
have to lose the locker room in like
Yeah.
grand fashion and just
Because
flame out.
I still don't understand how a team picking third overall in the draft gets the hardest schedule in the NFL. Like, I don't understand the logic behind that decision because it used to be if you got the number one pick in the draft, you had the easiest schedule and
Yeah.
then second easiest, then third easiest. Like, that's how it used to be. I don't know what changed. And then they decided to, we want the marquee matinee matchups.
Mhm.
The Giants have to play the Eagles two times in 3 weeks in the beginning of the season, first off, instead of always playing them at the end. And they play the Chiefs at home, Sunday Night Football, their home opener. Like, there's some fucking brutal games. I mean, they may go winless at home. I mean, their home schedule is out of this world, but that's only if we think they're as good as they are right now. That defensive line might be so ridiculous that like no quarterback can just withstand it, you
It's the
know?
equalizer.
Yeah, it is the great equalizer. So, and they're banking on it. They're banking on it. And if that is the great equalizer, then we're talking about some serious wins here. It all depends on how Russell Wilson plays. Um, Jameis Winston is Jameis Winston. He's just there to be the fun guy and be the locker room guy and to make everybody laugh. He's not really, if Russell Wilson doesn't play or he gets hurt, Winston's not going to play. It'll be
So
the
who? I mean, Giants aren't going to keep 4 quarterbacks, right?
no. They'll cut DeVito or they'll trade Winston, one of the two.
Okay.
And I mean, they gave Winston they gave him a multi-year deal. So I think they'll just cut DeVito or they'll move DeVito to the practice squad and then they'll roster three. They rostered three last year. They're going to roster three this year. They've rostered three every year of the Dable and Shane era so far. So, and there's no way that DeVito is going to have a spot over Jameis Winston unless they traded him, you know.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be a very
The
interesting.
the pieces are in place to build. It's promising,
Yeah, the pieces are there. It is exciting.
hopeful.
It is an exciting time as a Giants fan. We have hope, like real hope. Like we had blind hope the last couple of years with Daniel Jones, but this is like real hope because even Russell Wilson at 37 is better than Daniel Jones. So, and Russell Wilson played really well for the Pittsburgh Steelers last year. You want to know why he started playing really bad that Dan mentioned earlier? It's because Arthur Smith changed the play calls and they started running the ball more. And
Yeah.
all of a sudden, wow, now he can't throw, now he's out of his rhythm. Like, no shit. Arthur Smith's a horrible coach. So uh,
Terrible. Terrible.
it's a little interesting down with the one of the four original teams. So should be a lot of fun. I hate to, I hate to cut the podcast, not necessarily short, but like, because we could probably talk for a little bit more, but I do have a dinner I have to get to. So we wanted to make sure we at least threw out a little bit of content for people. Hopefully we can
Been a
give,
minute. Got to get back on the saddle.
yeah, listen, got to get into a groove. Got to get into a groove, back in the saddle. Well, training camp's around the corner. Training camp will be in July. We still have OTAs running through. If the boys want to do another episode this upcoming week, I'll be available. I have a couple days off of work thanks to a holiday. Um,
Yeah. What?
I'll be free, so we might be able to do another one to talk more and kind of get Ray's opinion or Dan's opinion. And, we could have Dan talk about what the Jets did in the draft and get Ray's perspective on the Giants. Cause I met him up at the boardwalk when he was with RT4 and he was like Cam Scatterbo. And I was like,
I listen, I know Ray and I know like who he's into and he loves Scatterbo. But yeah, definitely I think we should definitely get even if we got like a pre-recorded from Dano or something or a quick snippet, gotta get Dano's thoughts on what the New York Jets are doing. Um I mean, yeah, I gotta definitely we'll get Ray on. We'll see what the Yankees do this weekend. The rematch.
the rematch.
The rematch. I am set my alarm for 10:10 tonight. Let's go.
Yep, absolutely. So, with that being said, everybody, thank you so much for watching, listening, tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe,
Subscribe. Tell us.
share, tell your
Share.
friends, tell your
Tell a
mother,
friend.
tell your
Tell you.
brother, tell your sister, all that good stuff.
Hoorah.
Peace out.